Hello guys, this is Yogi Logic reporting to you from Barcelona. And today I actually wanted to let you in on one of the most powerful secrets of virtually all self-actualized and successful people. So what am I talking about? Well, let me start with this quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of my favorite authors. He says, "The ancestor of every action is a thought." So let me repeat that. The ancestor of every thought. So what do I mean by that? Well, I quite literally mean that thoughts create reality. Now, this is an idea that's actually very difficult to accept for most people. But in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly the mechanics of how this happens and how you can actually harness the power of this insight in your own life. So let's get right into it. Well, what are thoughts actually? So one of the best definitions that I've found for what thoughts are is by Bob Proctor. So Bob Proctor says, quite literally, that thoughts are electromagnetic waves that transcend space and time. So, which means that obviously thoughts are something intangible. So, there was, I believe that Einstein's brain is being conserved somewhere in a jar. And, the crazy thing is that you can look inside the brain, you can probably slice it, but the thing is, where are the thoughts? You probably gotta have a really hard time of finding the thoughts. Well, we can't see them, we can't hear them, we can't smell them, we can't touch them, but yet they have an extremely powerful effect on our lives. So how do your thoughts actually become your reality? Well, actually, the thing is that not every thought that you have in your head will turn into your reality, but here's a catch. The thoughts that you get involved with emotionally and the thoughts that you focus on the most, those are actually the thoughts that turn into your reality. So the thoughts that we actually think about the most in our head, eventually they will start to create feelings. For example, if I think, man, I love my new leather jacket. I really love it. And each time I think about it, each time I look at it, I'm gonna think like, man, I'm so happy. And so our feelings actually, they create what is called in spiritual terms the vibration, which is nothing more than actually a state of being. So then in this state of being, we're gonna take our actions. So, if we are really happy about something, if we're really excited about something and we take action on it, probably the action is gonna be much more efficient than if we were feeling depleted. So once we take action in our lives, we start to see results. We start to see physical manifestations of our behavior. And now based on the physical manifestations of our behavior, we're gonna create more thoughts. And now these thoughts, again, they're gonna again come down, and based on those thoughts, we're gonna create feelings. We're gonna feel something. And now, again, based on the feelings, we're gonna create another state of being. And based on the state of being, we're gonna engage in different kinds of actions or similar kinds of actions depending on what kind of thoughts we're actually cultivating. So do you see how this works? So I want you to start thinking about each thought that you get in your head. I want you to think about as an invitation that you can either reject or embrace. So if somebody tells you, on the street, if somebody tells you, man, your fashion sucks, you look like a tramp, I can either choose to accept that and say, okay, yeah, I look like a tramp, I look like shit. Or then I can say, man, you know what? I don't agree with your opinion. If you don't like the way I look like, it's your problem. But I'm gonna choose to ignore that. And based on this choice that we make, in this choice, we have actually the power to control our destiny. So now let me actually read you a passage by Napoleon Hill that I really love, that's gonna really make this concept come alive. Thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotions create a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the ether other similar or related thoughts. A thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed which, when planted in fertile soil, germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again until that which was originally a small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand. So I really love this metaphor of a thought as a seed. So literally that's what our thoughts are. And we can actually take a thought, which is just a seed, and we can start to cultivate that thought, to nourish that thought. And that seed eventually, as he says, it will grow into a tree, which is going to bear fruit, which is going to have, like he says, millions of the same seed. So, and here is really the power that we have in our lives, because we actually, nobody else can choose what we think except us. And here is the real power that lies within us to actually control our destiny. And now, the way that this works on actually a scientific level is that in the bottom stem of our brain, we have a group of nerves which is called the reticular activation system. So the way it works is that this reticular activation system acts as a filter, which basically filters out most of the sensory impressions that we have. So, we're always seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, way more things that we're actually aware of, because this reticular activation system, based on the thought habits that we have engaged in the past, is going to determine which sensory impulses are important enough to be brought into our attention. So basically what this means is that our focus and awareness of a subject is what actually creates our reality. So this means that we might live in the same macrocosm, we live in the same world, but however, our microcosm, the way that we interpret and the way that we give meaning to this external world, is what actually is going to determine our experience of reality. So let me give you just a quick example of this. So, we live in this really cool Airbnb, and downstairs the door was actually broken. The handle kind of one day just fell off, and we couldn't open the door. And it was so bad we couldn't actually get out of the damn door. So fortunately what happened is that somebody came and repaired it. They replaced the door handle. And obviously, I was pretty happy. I was pretty happy because, hey, cool, we have a new door. Then I saw this neighbor, this cool lady, but who was really angry actually. She saw the new handle and she's like, "Oh, Hassan from the third floor, he's probably the one who broke this. Oh, motherfucker, he's such a bitch. Oh, such a bad person." and although actually the door handle had already been replaced, and there was, for me, no reason to worry about it. But here's an example of how seeing this one thing, the repaired door handle, how in two people it can create a completely different experience of reality. And now the really crazy thing about this is that we think that we're really autonomous, we have free will, and we're in control of our lives. But now get this, that scientifically it's been shown that actually 95% of our thoughts, the things that go through our head, are repeated day in, day out. They're the same thoughts, and only 5% is something else. So think about just what kind of implications that can have in our lives if we take the premise that our thoughts create our reality. And so if we're thinking the same thoughts every day, we're going to be creating the same reality. And this is why, I realized, this is why I was stuck in a cycle for such a long time before I actually made a conscious effort of changing my thoughts. And this is, you're gonna find, the more you study successful people, the more you study, people who have really made it, they actually, one of the main ways they did it is that they took control of their mental habits. They started to engage in different kinds of thought habits. Most of us are focused on actually what we don't want. We're focused maybe on our financial problems. I don't know, the rude people in traffic, or the way that we don't have enough money, we don't have this, we don't have that. We're focused on that. And then what happens is that our reticular activation system is gonna find exactly those things that we're looking for in life. Although the world is full of possibilities, but we're only locked in on those few possibilities that we're used to thinking about. So now for myself, I was thinking for a long time like, oh yeah, you know, I'm not really gonna get well-paid work. I think just people who are successful videographers and photographers because they had connections, they knew this person or that person, and you know, they have more experience than me, they have better cameras than me. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking to myself, yeah, you know what, I'm never gonna be successful. I'm just so, you know, why even bother? And imagine what kind of feelings I was getting from those thoughts. So obviously, I was really depressed, I was feeling like a failure. And what happens to me, you know, what do you think happened to me when I was thinking like that? Obviously, I took no action. I took no action to actually take control of my own life and, you know, to get ahead and find work. And if I took no action, obviously, nobody would give me work. And then from that, my thoughts would be the same again, like, okay, I'm not gonna get work, I'm not gonna get good clients, my cameras aren't good enough, I'm not a good enough photographer, and so on. Then I was feeling like shit, and can you see how these things become a cycle? So now you might ask, how can we actually start changing our thought patterns? How can we start to get out of our mental rut, which is manifesting the same reality for us? So the only thing that you can do is, if you're going this way, you have to start applying opposite forces. You know, you're thinking negatively, you're gonna have to start to immerse your mind with positive thoughts. What's gonna happen is that sooner or later, if you keep thinking positively, those positive thoughts are gonna reverse the course of your ship. You know, so the only way to start getting different results is to start thinking different thoughts. And obviously in the beginning, it feels difficult. It feels like you're kind of lying to yourself. But if you actually take the time to read different books, I mean, for example, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich is a fantastic book to read if you feel like you're a failure. You start applying different kinds of thoughts into your mind, and you're gonna see that eventually you're gonna be coming to a standstill where, you know, you're kind of stuck between two worlds. And then eventually you're gonna start, if you keep thinking positively, you're gonna start to slowly reverse the course of your life. And that's sort of the stage where, for example, I am at right now. I'm starting to see different results from different way of thinking. Because the change that I made in my thinking was to actually, instead of just focusing on all the things that I didn't like about my life, I started to focus on actually all the good things that I already have. I realized, hey, you know what? I have a camera, I have some audio equipment, I have a great fucking computer, I have a lot of books, I'm living in a really cool part of Helsinki, I know that I'm pretty intelligent, I have great education, and I started to just actually become grateful and aware of all of the good things that I already had in my life. And with this, by doing this, what I'm starting to find is I only keep finding more good things, I only keep finding more things that are going for me. And with this, actually, what happens is that I'm seeing opportunities that I wasn't even aware of before. But the crazy thing is that all of those opportunities, they were always there, but I just wasn't seeing them because of where I was placing my focus. Just keep reading, keep studying, and, you know, keep working on yourself, because really the cool thing is that it does pay off in the end. And the really great thing is that once you start doing that, you actually realize that you can take control of your life and you can actually create the life of your dreams. So with that thought, I'm gonna be checking out here in Barcelona. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, you can click that like button down below. And if you wanna see more similar content, just subscribe. And I'm gonna be bringing tons of value for you guys, tons of good content. Now I'm gonna be going to the Barcelona match tonight, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.